ahead.
Well, let me officially start us. I'm Joe Rhine, librarian in the North Carolina room, and today is September the 9th, 2019, and I'm here with Joe Newman, Friends of the North Carolina room board member, and we're talking with Cliff Cotton. Cliff, would you mind just saying your name and spelling both names?
Yeah, Clifford Cotton. Well, Clifford, C-L-I-F-F-O-R-D, W Cotton, C-O-T-T-O-N, second.
Do you prefer Clifford or Cliff?
I prefer Cliff.
Okay.
Informal kind of.
Yeah. And I'm raised right here in Asheville, born and raised right here.
Could you say your parents' name, including your mother's name?
Yeah, my father was the first, Clifford W Cotton II. My mother was Annette P. Pearson. Her grandfather, her father was E W Pearson, which is the, a famous entrepreneur here in the Asheville area. And then both raised, my father was from Georgia, I believe, but my mother was raised is from Asheville.
Did you all live in one same place, or?
Same place, I'm still living in that same place. I came back to the same place.
And you're in Southside?
No, West Asheville.
Oh, West Asheville.
Yeah,
Should
West
have known
Asheville.
that, yeah.
Is that in the Burton Street?
Yeah,
area?
yeah. Good street there.
I knew
Yeah.
that.
I always lived right there, same house, same place. Of course, it seems like the house got smaller since I lived there.
And where did you go to elementary school?
Burton Street, went to Burton Street. First through the 6th grade. You know, at that time, Burton Street School there was only 3 classrooms. And, you know, the first and second was the same room. And the third and fourth was the same room. And the fourth, fifth, and sixth in the same room. So we were all together. If you were in the 5th grade, you learned what the higher grade learned because it was all just simultaneously, more or less. So you got a little step ahead of everybody else in a sense, you know, we were behind. So we left there and on to junior high, which is Hill Street. Hill Street was 7th and 8th grade. And then from there on to Stevens Lee. Started in 9th grade, Stevens High School at Stevens Lee. And that was the class of 1960 that I graduated from.
At Burton Street, were there any teachers or you wanted to mention, or who the principal was?
Yeah, principal, Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Gertrude Jones, she was the principal at Burton Street. And I think Miss White, she was another teacher. But I may remember Miss Ashton. She was kind of an arts teacher. And she taught drawing and arts and crafts, and all kinds of things, more or less arts and craft, which I learned quite a bit from her because I went on to produce handmade handbags. As a matter of fact, I had a shop in Los Angeles many years later, and she taught us how to do the tooling and leather and lace and all that too. So I made custom bags, any shape, any color, and with your name inscribed on it. And I just thought about that. That's why I learned that at Burton Street.
Was there any kind of musical program or encouragement for people with your kind of talent?
Well, yeah, that was a glee club. That was a glee club, and there was always music. There was always music in my house because my mother played the organ, piano.
I see.
And we had a piano in the house.
Did she play at church?
Yeah, she did. And so she was always encouraging me in music. For a short time, I had music lessons when I was, I don't know how old I was when I did take piano. I had to go over to the Spanish teachers right here about this wide WCA when I was right on College Street. I used to go over there. It was like 50 cents a lesson, something like that. So but as soon as kind of got out of that, what later on I realized the reason I got out, because I was having trouble seeing the music. I later found out that I had what they call a weak muscle, that cross that I would cross. So that's why I wear glasses today, in fact. So that's why I kind of dropped out of the piano lessons. But my mother still played. She still performed a lot of church programs with my aunt, which is all the bodies that do duets together.
I see.
All over town, all the time. So music was always in the family. And, you know, right out of Burton Street, my uncle, who's E W Pearson Jr., he worked at WLOS and had a jazz program called the Professor Bond Show. And so that kept the music going because all the record companies would send him records to play on the radio show. So the ones he didn't want to use, I would give them. So I had a large record collection, and that went on for years and years. They would still send me, after the show was over, they would still send records to him. But more than black companies, like Duke Records, War Records, mainly there was, which had the black artists, you know, in mind.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the mainly records I would have. I had a large collection of records because they would come free every month. You know?
That's a great deal.
Yeah, that was a good deal. That was a good deal. So I wish I had some of those original records today, which I think my son finally got a hold to them and thought they were frisbees. Throw them away. Yeah, so, but what I'm thinking about Burton Street, you know, as I went on to Stevens Lee, I got encouragement from the music director at Stevens Lee, which Doc Lennon. Madison Lennon was his name. And man, I remember him coming to Burton Street to feel who was interested in music, because just prepare yourself to be in the band. Much later, I never thought about being in the band at Stevens Lee, but at that time, he came in and encouraged us to, who was interested in music, to kind of step up and see what we could do.
That's
so,
wonderful.
Yeah, he kind of introduced that to us at Burton Street. So I wanted an instrument. So up to the corner store, there was a grocery store up on the corner of Burton Street near the road. It was called Fairly Groceries. And the proprietor, his name was Don. And some way he heard about it and said, well, I got an old trumpet here. And I said, wow, that sounds good. So I take this trumpet, it was $15 or something. So I put my little paper money, little seed, flour money, make it aside. I finally got this trumpet. And not knowing anything about the instrument, but this trumpet was bit up, we wouldn't have played. You just couldn't get the sound out of it. It was so hard to get the sound out of it, but I had my own. So I finally gave up on the trumpet, because it was bells was stuck. I had no idea what, about at that time. So that kept me, interested in music for a while. But mainly the records that I would get from my uncle's record collection just kept coming, and I had all kinds of music, at home.
Did you start playing the saxophone at Stevens Lee?
I started playing the saxophone at Stevens Lee. Okay, when I finally attended Stevens Lee, I signed up with the band. But at that time, the band, the singing members and the upperclassmen, there was but a few saxophones. So I wanted to play either the alto or the tenor. So at that time, there was none available. we said, well, there's one that was sharing, we got a baritone, he was sharing with you know, a classmate. His name was Clyde Waters. He was sharing this song with Clyde Waters because he's going to graduate on up the line, you know. So that's how I actually intended how I wrote, you know, decided to, well, I didn't decide to play. That's what I had to play because that was the only thing that was available. So I continued the baritone sax, and I played the baritone sax to the day.
Okay.
So later on, but you know, at that time, Doc Lennon, he wouldn't, you know, if you find we were doing just before the class, just before the band practice, we would all be in, some of those saxophone players, some of the guys would be in the corner trying to play rhythm and blues and stuff on the saxophone, and, you know, trying to play some of the phrases and stuff you hear, you know, saxophones playing on different records, and, you know, but Doc Lennon didn't allow it. He was young. You got to learn how to read the music. Don't play that. You know, trying to pick it up by ear. He said you got to learn to read the music. You know, so you know he encouraged us very much to continue to read the music instead of trying to just pick it up. You know, and so he never did allow us to play that little rhythm and blues mixed in the band room. But that kind of changed later on when he found out that that's the direction we were going, because it got to the point where the other baritone player finally graduated, so I had to keep the horn myself, and got to the point where he would allow me to bring it home on the weekend.
Oh.
So I would get on the bus, that big baritone saxophone. That's the one I had there, right there, I believe.
Yeah, that is a big horn.
Those silver saxophone. And so I would lug it on the bus, in the back of the bus, go in the back, sit it down every weekend, you know, we'd bring it home, then we would try to play the records and stuff that we would hear. So that's why he kind of decided to, we would play it in the band room though, but he kind of decided to kind of encourage us to keep on doing what we're doing. After he found that he wasn't going to stop us, so he just encouraged us to go on. And so all of us were in the band together.
What was his instrument? What was the thing he played the most?
Well, his instrument was clarinet.
Okay.
He played every instrument. I mean, he would show you the phrasing and scales and stuff on every instrument in the band.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a very talented man.
So tell us about the untills again, if you don't mind, we get it on the recorder.
Okay, well, the untills, well, that started, you know, every year they would have like a talent show in the auditorium. And so we thought that we could play, and this was mainly the nucleus of the untills here. That's Stanley Beard, and that's Tom Jones, and that's Bruce Friday. So all three of us was in the saxophone section in the high school band, so we were always playing together. So we found there was somebody knew a younger drummer, which is Jimbo. He was about 2 years younger than us. 2 years younger than us at that time. And somebody had to play guitar, so we found out this guy on calendar, he was a preacher's son. And so he couldn't go too much as he snuck out.
And he played with an amp. Did he?
Yeah.
Plugged it in?
Yeah, plugged it in.
Yeah.
And then of course Connell was the keyboard player. I don't see him on, he was on that song. But,
Where did you all practice?
well, we practiced mainly at the old store on Burger Street, right across from the center, right across from Burger Street School. The old store, we would practice up there. a lot of times we practice at the YMCA. And, many of those two places we practice, mainly. And anyway, so that was a talent show. So we thought we would get our little band together. We had a little group together. So we performed this talent show. So we performed, but there was one guy that won every talent show. And he had a singing group, because all the girls loved to sing group. And his name was Charles Pickens. And that's his picture, that's Pickens right there.
Okay.
He was kind of the lead singer of the vocal group. And so of course they won. And we came off, one of the teachers said, well, y'all were good, but we didn't have a singer. So we talked to Pickens and we decided to combine the two groups.
Oh, all right.
So that's why it's a singing group. So when you got Until, you had the singing group and the band in one unit, you know. So and I would play in the band, and when the singing group started, then I would walk and sing with the group.
And the other saxophones were
Yeah.
going in the, you know.
Yeah, they were still playing,
yeah.
they were playing it, yeah. So it was a combination of everybody. It was 4 members in Pickens group, and of course, the band.
And what are some of the songs, especially with vocals, you remember y'all that people liked?
Well, called Silhouette. Remember
Yeah,
Silhouette?
yeah,
Get a Job.
yeah.
They were like that. The Still of the Night.
Yeah.
They were like that. We go to.
See, the white kids heard all that too. That was,
And I didn't read where the Until's name came from.
Oh, well, it's a couple stories. Well, we didn't have a name, so we couldn't think of a name. So, it's different versions, but different people claim the name, but I remember, my father saying, what y'all gonna do? What's the name of the group? I said, well, we don't know. We still practicing. He said, well, how long are you gonna practice? I said, well, until we get a little better. And he said, well, until you do better, that's a good name, Until. So Until stuck with us till we get better.
That's great. I love it. It's perfect.
Yeah. So.
I assume Doc Lennon,
Doc
I
Lennon.
wanted to say Doc Watson, Doc Lennon heard you play or perform.
Oh, yeah, yes, every time we would, got to the point we would perform and a lot of acts that would come to the city auditorium. That city auditorium is called, certainly something now, but that was called the city auditorium. We were small, the city auditorium, yeah. So we got to go on to play with some of the
that's a
acts
big
that
deal.
were- Oh, yeah, that was a big deal there. The big stage with some of the famous, Fats Domino and
Oh,
Little Richard, all those coming along those times.
that's
And matter of fact, we patted ourselves. Fats Domino had a great band, but the band that we liked the best, and kind of patted ourselves after was the band that played with Little Richard, Larry Williams, and Little Willie John. It was a band from Texas called the Upsetters.
okay.
And they had the same instrumentation that we had. They had the two tenors, baritone, sax. That was the same instrumentation that they had. So we patterned ourselves after that group called Upsetters. And they backed up a lot of groups at that particular time. But that's who we matter of fact, patterned our instrumentation off of.
I bet Doc Lennon was proud of y'all when you got good and
Well,
played down at the auditorium.
Yeah.
Would he admit that, or would he?
I don't think so. He walked away just kind of. Yeah, but I
Did
think
he try to
it's-
offer you all any advice?
No, not too much, just to keep studying, keep, you know, learning your craft. You know, keep you practicing, learn the craft. And that's all it come up. And that was very encouraging. It come from him.
Yeah.
Down to the time, yeah.
Now, the auditorium was segregated, right?
Yeah, at one time.
So you played for black crowd?
Yeah, well, that particular time, the black kids were on the main floor and the whites were in the balcony. So, but that kind of broke down after a while, you know, it's kind of relaxed, I guess you'd say. Until finally you see everybody down on the main floor, you know, dancing and having a good time, you know.
Right.
Yeah, but there were times it was totally separate. Yeah.
Music will break down the barriers.
Yeah,
It broke it down.
And of course, young people are generally quicker to want to break down the barriers than their parents.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's right, yeah. But it's strange. Yeah. Now Tim was always at my house, bringing his guitar, playing, and,
The white fellow.
yeah.
Yeah, white
And he
guitarist.
lived right up the street, right not too far, 4 or 5 blocks, I guess, from where I live.
Okay.
But he was continuously at my house, bringing his guitar, I put on the records and everything. But he explained his parents were a little different. But I said, I never went to his house. Never met his parents, never went to him. All the years we played together, but I'd never been to his house.
That's the way it works.
Yeah, things were that way.
Yeah, he'd come down and would eat with us, and, you know, just spend the whole afternoon and we'd pack up, go back home, you know.
Well, he must have been a good musician.
He was.
Didn't he go to a music school, Berkeley?
Yeah, he went to Berkeley, yeah.
When he got out of
Yeah.
high school?
Yeah, well, not directly out of high school. He went to, might have been UNCA, but he ended up on Berkeley.
Going to Berkeley.
And coming back and teaching at UNCA.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. In the music department?
in the music department.
Okay.
And just before he died, he got a commission at Clemson to go down and teach music in Clemson. So he died a short time after that. Yeah. So he was a good musician. He was a good fellow. Yeah, good fellow.
Cliff, did you make your main living for music in your life, or did you work like a lot of musicians, a day job and then play at night, or how did you make your income?
Well, a little bit of both. A little bit of both. When I was off or didn't play music, I did other jobs too. I was an insurance man at one time. Sold furniture. I stayed at the furniture place for 10, 15 years. Rose Furniture. Rose Furniture used to have a store right down in Panhandle years ago. It was a big store in Atlanta. And, you know, and I stayed with them almost 15 years before they went out of business and everything just dropped off. 401k, and this went bankruptcy and just shut the door and everything was gone. So I did different jobs in between. But I mainly just stuck with music. You know, when I left college, I was saying I went to Knoxville College first, and I transferred there to Central, North Carolina Central. And that's where I knew. My mother said she was in Central, but I never knew anything about her. I know she said she attended. That was her alma mater. That's where she went to school. But I didn't find out how she went to school until one day I was going through some stuff I was going to get rid of. And I saw these letters and things in this box. And come to find out she got to school was my grandfather kind of bartered some property for her to get to school. And he had 50 acres of property in Burke County that he kind of spoke to the president of Central for her to go to school, put up this property for her to go to school. So that's what he did. He accepted the proposal, and she went to school on that bond. But then I also have the receipt where he paid it off, paid them off, and got his property back. But I never knew she had that. I never knew that was the way she went to school.
How about that?
Yeah. So that was very interesting. That, but she went to school with some Florida. She said, so she said she went to school with Claude McKissick. You know Claude McKissick, the lawyer? Yeah. Well, she went to school with him. She mentioned her when I finally went there. Because, matter of fact, I met her daughter, met his daughter. And she said, oh, I know her father. I said, what came about? Okay. What happened? I played with several bands in the Durham area. So, oh man, that's how we got entangled with the Fiery Sparks. See, we kind of got separated. You know, the main group was separated. So 2 of us went to Central, and 2 of them went to A&T, and a couple of us went to Winston-Salem State, Winston-Salem. So we were kind of separated after that. But the guy that had to work with the main group, called the Fiery Sparks, was in Greensboro, which was Bruce and Jimbo. So by some kind of way, he said, well, we're going to get the other guys in. So finally he got me in the group with Fire Sparks. We called Stanley in with the main group. So we kind of combined our group together. So we go to Greensboro and play with the group Fire Sparks. And so one of the dorm matrons was the manager of the group. And he knew his brother was in Detroit, in Philadelphia. So he got some arrangements there in Philadelphia. And turn this off, got together there in Philadelphia. And so we went to Philadelphia to perform. So we was getting to the big time and going to Philadelphia and performing in Philadelphia and all over the place. And so we
turn mine off too, just in case.
So, anyway.
Can I get you some water?
Well, maybe some.
Yeah.
Joe,
Joe, are you okay?
Zoe, I'll take something if it's convenient.
yeah, we're man, we talk as much as all the way.
I think a message came in.
Oh.
Those phones have changed our lives.
They sure have. I can't do without.
No.
Oh, man.
I remember I resisted having one, you know. I said,
Well,
I've got to answer it, you know. My wife will be calling me all the time, checking up on me. I don't need that.
Well, see, it started with the people.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And I didn't have the people. I said, nah. It took me a while to get a phone.
Thanks. Well, tell us about Philadelphia.
Oh, okay. Let me tell you, play again first.
That's good.
Good.
Yeah. Well, so we went on to Philadelphia, forming several shovelman clubs. And during that time, in some way, we had an opportunity to go to New York. And we found out that Engages was the smallest paradise in New York. And that was one of the biggest and hottest clubs in Harlem at that particular time, called the smallest paradise. That was right there on 135th Street. So I don't remember exactly where it was, but it was right in the middle of everything that was happening in Harlem. And in fact, it was right across the street, Count Basie's place. It was Count Basie's place right across the street. And somebody else was down on a block or so. And so we went to the smallest paradise. Wow, we made it.
You danced all the way from Philadelphia.
Yeah, so we were there for a couple of weeks. And I think it was there during the Christmas holidays. The place was packed. And we were,
That's a long engagement.
oh yeah, well,
So that was about 64 or something, am I right?
around 62, 63.
Okay.
And that's when Will Chamberlain on Smallest Paradise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
Big time.
yeah, oh, it's big time, because we were playing in the front. See, they had the, jazz club, well, it's a bar at the bar, played at the bar. And in the back room was a showroom, where the group called Tommy Johnson Dancers, and they would feature somebody in the back, that particular time it was Kim Weston. After that was Gladys Knight. That's when I first met Gladys Knight. They were performing in the back. So we played the front bar, and to give us about 20 minutes break, we go back and sit up and play behind the show in the showroom. So during that time, we got a chance to meet. I mean, we were playing with people like, King Curtis at that front bar, and he was going first, and we would come on after them. So you followed, so we had to play King Curtis, come on after him, and Willis Jackson, and all these guys. So a lot of times, the Apollo was right down the street. So a lot of times people would come by from the Apollo to perform at the Apollo and come by the small club, Smallest Paradise. So that's when we really got to know a lot of the entertainers who performed in Smalls. And matter of fact, that's when Chuck Jackson came by and said he wanted to sit in with us. It just so happened we knew a lot of his songs. So when he performed, he came up and sang a couple of his songs. We already knew his songs. So we played exactly the way he played, so we knew it. So that was very interesting. That he said, "Well, I'm coming down to North Carolina in the next couple of months. I want y'all guys to back me up." So okay, all right, we'll do that. So that's one interesting thing that happened at that time. And so it came off the stage one particular night, and place was packed with just people just shoving, you just couldn't hardly walk in. So Will Chamberlain came up and said something to me and handed me $100 bill. So I said, "Wow, that's right." I ran in the back. That's a tip. I told the other guys in the band, "That's a tip. That's a tip. Look what he gave me, $100 tip." So as soon as we take a break, we're going to go across the street to the Big Apple. There's a bar on the corner of the Big Apple. And the drinks were 3 for $1. So
$100 a mile up.
so the drinks were 3 for $1. So, you $1 and you 3 shot glass right there.
Oh, goodness.
So,
And you were a sophomore or so in high school.
he was,
Is
when
that
I
right?
was out of
Something
high
like
school,
that?
I was in college.
Oh, in college,
yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
all right. Now that makes it better.
Yeah,
That makes it better.
yeah. So, well, so went over, but everybody didn't go. Everybody said, well, okay, I'm gonna sit this one out, because you got look at my music or whatever. So just a couple of guys went over there and we spent a couple dollars. And we came back to the club, and so this big guys came over to me and wanted to know, well, listen, what happened with the money? What money you mean? They will give you $100 bill? I said, yeah. Well, he wanted change. He gave me that go get change for it. So this big guy jacked me up.
Oh, no.
I said, well,
You might have been more clear.
yeah, I didn't understand what he said. He wanted me to go get some change for him for some reason. And I guess he figured he could trust me to give me $100 bill, but I thought it was a tip.
Yeah, oh goodness.
So just so happened, we didn't spend a couple of dollars, but I still had, in my pocket. I gave it back to them, so they got a brush me off. You know, but I was worried there for a minute.
That's a great story.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot to ask you to hold up your U.
Oh, yeah, that's my Until's.
Yeah, and your,
That's my Until's letter.
I think it's wonderful you still have it.
Yeah, so we just put that on, this represents, we were trying to be like the teenagers, Franklin Island and teenagers. Remember them, they had a T on their sweater. So we all had sweaters and used on ours for the Until's, you know.
And show us your other letter.
Yeah, later on, that's my school letter, Stevens Lee band letter. And so that's what, when we got them in the band, that's what you had, which our colors were maroon, crimson and gray, or the school colors. And this was, well, was one of the letters we got when you joined the band. So that was very, that's the original letter from Stevens Lee. How about that? Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, so that's great. Yeah.
It is great to keep things like that too.
Are you guys gonna let us talk about something other than music?
Oh,
One reason I'm here for the interview, and Zoe and I have done a bunch of these together, but Zoe said, be sure to ask all those questions about music, you know. And now she's saying, okay, yeah, enough music. Yeah. So Zoe, we'll turn it over to you now. So
Did you have something else you wanted to ask him about?
Oh, 1,000 questions.
Yeah.
But no, you've covered your early days as a musician, and it's of great interest to me, and it will be to others.
well, one other thing, Chuck Jackson did come to North Carolina,
Okay.
and we ended up playing behind him. So I ended up working with him for a good 10 years or so.
Whoa.
You know, I ended up being his music director, band director, kind of wrote.
So you traveled all over?
So yeah, we traveled all over the South, all over. And so when he did come to North Carolina and looked us up, and we joined up with him.
Now, I've got to ask one more, you reminded me. Now, you were with Dick Clark and his touring rock and roll show.
Yeah.
That was later.
That was much later, yeah.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, before that, after Chuck Jackson, matter of fact, at my anniversary, it's Labor Day, I left. I joined the Temptations. And matter of fact, one of the guys in Temptations, we got to be close friends on one of our tours that we used to have. And he told me, he said, well, we got a song coming out, it's gonna be a hit. When it comes out, we'll give you a call, I want you to kind of hook the band up and so forth. So the record came out, turned out to be a hit. He called me, and matter of fact, it was Labor Day, I think it was 64. When that song came out, My Girl came out. He
Oh,
called
that
me.
was a song.
Yeah, he called me and said, well, our song is gonna be a hit, we got it out.
Big.
He said, get your band together. Well, I need a couple of horns, so I got two of the horns from Chuck's band, and we left them on a Labor Day weekend from Ohio and caught the bus to go to Detroit to join the Temptations band. So we were first traveling band with the Temptations. My girl was a kid at that particular time.
Big,
So, yeah, so we traveled, did several traveling. And, you know, then, as you might know, after that, the Motown moved to California. You know, we closed the operation down in Detroit and everything moved to Los Angeles. So several after that, years or so after that, I went back to Philadelphia to work with several groups there. So then I moved to Los Angeles, and that's when I ran to Milton, of course, again with Temptations and met some other people. So, matter of fact, one guy I used to work at a music store. One guy plays saxophone, and he said, "Well, man, come out to this New Year's Day. Come out and bring your horn out. I'm working out to the arena with, you know, the big crowd show. I'm sure they want you can come on and sit in with us. I'll see if it's okay. So just come on out." So I went out and took my horn, went out to the arena, met all the guys in the band. They had several people that I had met before with the Chuck Jackson group. So I knew some of the people, like the Shirelles and some of the coasters and so I had known them before, so they were surprised that they know me and I know them. So then after the show, I was sitting with the band. After the show was over, they asked me if I wanted to join the band, because I had baritone sax. They didn't have a baritone. Very few people had baritone sax at that particular time. So they asked me to join the group. That's how I started with Dick Clark Review.
okay.
Yeah. And, I was just going out and sitting there with one of my friends that I'd met. His Gary Bell, very good saxophone player. And because we knew some of the same people. Matter of fact, he was one of the guys that worked with the band I mentioned before, the Upsetters. He worked with, I didn't know him personally, but I knew the Upsetters, and I kind of, you know, knew about him through that association with the Upsetters that we tried to patent ourselves after years earlier.
Wow.
Now, one more question. So
I just want to say, from Asheville to LA,
that's a big,
that's a big jump.
and then to wind up with Dick Clark traveling with one of his rock and roll shows. That was the 1990s, is that right?
Yeah, it was the 80s. That was the 80s. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your job was basically with the stage band to back up whichever singers came out for Dick Clark. Was that the way it worked?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just and we backed up everybody from Frank Avalon to Bobby Rydell, just all the Dick Clark.
Yeah. The American Bandstand.
Yeah.
Wish we would have had you bring your horn.
Yeah, we could have heard a song or two recorded.
But then that was interesting, and that was very nice. I mean, that was, well, that particular gig, you may say, was just first class all the way.
I'm sure,
You know?
I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, we went all over Bermuda, we went all over. Yeah.
I've heard he treated musicians very well.
Oh, yeah, he's very friendly, yeah, very nice, very friendly guy, yeah.
Did you keep coming home during that time?
Not too much. Every so often I get a good break and come back. But once I left, I never came back for no more than 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
So I left, started in college.
Well, what a life.
Yeah. Until just recently, you know, my whole house was sitting out there vacant and it about to fall down, like it's about to fall down now. But anyway, I thought I'd come back to that, try and get it together. So I'm working on that, trying to do it.
When did you come back?
It's been a couple of years now. I've been here a couple of years. I lived in Atlanta before moving here. And I went from Los Angeles to Atlanta. And I probably stayed in Atlanta probably almost 10 years, I guess. And so then the house was vacant up there. I decided to come back up here. And so I got my family and now my kids are here with me also.
Oh, that's great.
So, wow.
It's a long time away.
Yeah, a long time. Everything has
not-
changed. Everything
Yeah.
has changed so much. You know.
It's not too small for you?
Yeah, it's small. Yeah, it's small. Because this thing has changed. I don't know anything, the place where I used to go is not there no more.
Yeah.
You know, so I really don't know where, you know, where the guys my age is, so hang out. You know what? They don't go anywhere. So, you know, let's look at those pictures up there. Bring back old times. Louis George, my mother in this building. Louis George, that's where I got one Boulevard watch from
Yeah.
many, many years ago. And I was right down on that over there. Yeah. I remember those places.
Did you have any specific places you hung out growing up?
Yeah, well, other than the drugstore, you know, you had the YMI and then Steele's drugstore across the street. For some reason, I like Steele's drugstore better because they make the better milkshake. You know, and across the street was the YMI, was also a drugstore. Just either one you decided on, but I decided Steele's drugstore better. And you know, it was a club upstairs over Steele's drugstore. I think it was called the Del Mercado Club, something like that. So we'd go up there and have dances and so forth. But the main place at that particular time was Southland Drive, which is down on McDowell, right next to Ravis Motel. Ravis is still there. I think somebody was trying to
Yeah, that building is.
yeah. But Southland is torn down. And the Southland Drive-In, really what the drive-in was like more of a restaurant with a club in the back. It was called the Southland Drive-In for some reason.
Oh,
And you know, those big parking lots, you park out there, you know, in the front, in the parking lot, you drink your beer, stuff out there in the car. I think that's why it was called a drive-in. But, you know, you go inside, go in the back, that's where the club was. And that was a very hot spot during that particular time. And, that was before the Owl Lounge. The Owl Lounge right down the street. McDowell there, about 5 points down there. And that was a pretty nice club. And, well, a couple of other things I don't go back and remember some of them. Well, there's a couple more. Can't place them right now. But,
was the Orange Peel in your era?
no, that was a skating rink. That was a little bit after my time. That was a skating rink at that time. If I remember, yeah, it was the Orange Peel. Yeah. The Orange Peel came later on. After that, gone, we was gone. So, that was,
Thinking back about Stevens Lee, are there any teachers you ended up meaning a lot to you? Or?
yeah, Miss Foster. She was my homeschool teacher, homeroom teacher, rather. And matter of fact, I think I kept her in some instances, same homeroom all 4 years. And sometimes you change your homeroom teachers and so forth. And but Stevens Lee was when I first, you know, when you first had your separate classes. That's Stevens Lee. You know, you had your gym class, your home ec class, your Spanish, you know, different English class. You know, you had to go to a different room. Because come from one room, two classes in one room. Stevens Lee, where all the classes were in different rooms, different teachers. It was a little different. But yeah, I remember. Dewsbury, Mr. Dewsbury, he was a French teacher. I took French at that particular time. And I remember going to his room. He was a very well-spoken French teacher. band, I don't never get the band, I still have numbers about being in the band, so I can always go back to that.
Yeah.
That was my main interest, was the band.
Did you do shop?
No, I didn't do shop. I think we had shop at Hill Street. For some reason, I didn't do shop. I don't remember being doing a shop, anything at Hill Street. That was beyond that at Hill Street. But I don't know why I didn't have to take shop.
That was Mr. Haith, wasn't
Well,
he?
Mr. Hayes was in Stevens.
Yeah, Stevens Lee.
Yeah, Stevens Lee, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Hayes, yeah. So, no, I didn't have shop. I was always in that band. I didn't play any sports. You know, my size, they said, why you didn't play sports? I was in the band.
Playing my sax.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
found your thing in life early,
Yeah,
a lot earlier than a lot of kids do.
yeah. So, but I didn't, it was a great basketball team. There was one championship football team was outstanding. But,
Now, you were a tall fella. Did the basketball coach come around and try to recruit you?
Talk to me, yeah. But one thing, see, I didn't have, in West Asheville, we didn't have any place to play, nothing like that. So it was, for me, it was basketball, because you didn't have any basketball courts for us to play. You know, we put a tire around or a post or something. If you miss a shot, you had to run down the hill and get the ball.
That gets you good.
So that was too much.
Yeah.
So there was no place to play football, so we didn't play football, so I didn't have the sports in me when I was smaller. You know, like most people have, did play a little baseball, but that didn't happen. That didn't happen. But,
Well, tell us about A-Score and how that first started, how you got involved, and
okay.
what your parents thought.
Well, A-Score was, like I mentioned, we were patterning ourselves after the city in Greensboro. And we were high school students, of course. In Greensboro, there was college students who were sitting doing the sit-ins and so forth. This actually started the sit-ins in Greensboro, AT&T. So, being the progressive class that we were, we wanted to be involved some type of way. So we started doing more or less ourselves. Trying to, well, one of the things we were trying to integrate the library along Pack Square, because we had to have a special pass, a card or something to go in to get a book. You just couldn't walk in and go to the counter, go through the desk and find your book. So you had to have a pass, a special pass to come into the library up there. So we were trying to figure out why we had to do that, so we started trying to protest that particular area. And we finally, some of the teachers at Stevens Lee finally realized what we were doing. And one of the main people that were in our side and showing us how to do this demonstration was Mr. Roller. His name was Roller. And he had a jewelry store right down where the police department is now, right on Market Street. You know, those shops right there, right across from, this side of the Wyman drugstore. That was those stores in there. And that's where he received the jeweler. And that's where he had his, that's my company. That's where he had his shop in there. So that's where we all crammed in. A little small shop. We would all cram in there. He would try to, well, he didn't try. He actually told us how to handle things. If things got out of hand, or somebody said something to you, and so forth. And so that's how he was the main instructor that showed us how to just calm and keep your himself together.
It was good that you found him.
Yeah.
That he found you
Yeah,
guys.
he found us,
Yeah.
man. So, yeah, he really did a lot to help that movement, as well as some of the other teachers. But Mr. Rowland was the main one.
Did Ms. Forney work with you folks after Stevens Lee closed and black students were at Asheville High?
No,
She did a lot in that
Yeah.
desegregation era. Do you remember her? Yeah, Miss Pierce.
Well, Miss Pearson.
She later became Miss Forney. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, well, she was, yeah, well,
Thank
yeah,
you. Yeah.
Miss Pierce, correct, I don't know
Yeah.
Miss Barney, because I was gone.
Right. Right. That's right.
Because I never did, when Stevens Lee closed, I didn't
Yeah.
even know about actual high for that,
Right.
but, yeah, Miss Pierce did have quite a bit. Yeah, I remember her well. So matter of fact, kept pursuing, some places with this, well, when you bring it up, you don't really realize those places, you don't. Because that particular time, you obeyed your parents. The parents said, well, you can't go in there, don't go in there. You mind that, and didn't matter about anything else, just listen to what they say. You didn't do what you want to do like kids do today, So, many times we walk by the Imperial Theater when I was right just next to Lee's Jewelry. And that was a fabulous theater on the outside. They had the marquee there in the front and the big posters and the marble floor. You walk around looking at the different movies, but you couldn't attend. I've never been to the Imperial Theater, which is torn down now, right next to the Lee's Jewelry. So you were told this, no, you don't want to do that. So you want to go to the movie, if you want to go to the plaza, it's closed now. But the plaza, if you want to go to the plaza, you had to go around to the back of the theater, over by the police department, over by Roller's Jewelers. And there was a ramp, you walk up the back, up to the second floor, and you go into the lobby for that, which was, it was real nice lobby, carpet floor, and had your booth there, when you get your tickets and everything, once you get inside, carpets and everything, which you came in the back door to Plaza Theater, and you go in, once you get your ticket, you go in, and it was nice, up in the balcony, which was, it's a good movie theater to see everything. But I remember that well. So only two theaters. Well, I used to be another theater on College Street called the E W Pearson. And that was kind of mainly more of a black theater called the E W Pearson. And that's long gone also. I don't know what you tore that down. But the other theater was Strand, which is now the Fine Arts Theater. Now, you go to find out the Strand Theater, the little side door, that door is still right to the day. I went there a couple months ago, and this little side entrance next to the ticket booth, on the left-hand side ticket booth, there's a door right there, and that's where you bought your ticket. So what you had to wait for everybody on that side get their ticket or whatever before you stand there forever. Till the lady turn around and decide and give you a ticket. And you get your ticket, get 15 cents there to the time, and you go up the steps. And you go to the steps, once again up to the balcony.
To the balcony.
At the Strand, to the Fine Arts Theater. I think this section's closed off now. But you go up there, and you sit at the balcony. Now about that theater, they had a little concession stand, but it wasn't closed up, it was open. So if you're sitting there at the balcony, you got the lights from the concession stand, obstructing your view because you got the bright lights from the concession stand and booths down there. So you really couldn't, it was really not a good place to sit unless you sit in front of the concession stand, which was crowded most of the time. And you had then when they're having at that particular time, when you got your soda and you drink, you would go down behind the concession stand and drop your nickel or dime into the machine, and your cup would fall down, and then your soda would go into your cup. And this particular time, sometime my cup had caught in there, and my drink poured down into the thing.
Yeah.
So, you go back, try to get your money back. Can't get your money back. So, anyway, the big thing about that, I didn't have my money back, didn't have a soda, and so that was just one of those things. But one thing I remember, as when I was somebody, I was going to see somebody, it was Saturday, my father would drop me off at Strand Pier, and at time, he would stay all day, one movie, this watch movies, and the different cereals, Sky King, and all those things, show, Captain Marvel, and all those things, shorts would come on, and so you used to spend the day in it. So this particular time, I went to get my tickets. He gave me my quarter, probably another dime or something, my drink, piece of candy, whatever. And I went to put my money on the counter, and the lady said that I was too old to go in with it. You had to be 12 years old or something to get in for the quarter, whatever it was, whatever. And she told me I was too old, I had to pay the full price. So I didn't have the full price, so I had to go and wait. My father went to the bank down here, the Bank of America right down here. So I had to walk back down here and finally wait for him to come around. So, he was a courier with the bank. Because in the back, one of his duties was to go around to the branches and pick up the money and bring it back to the bank. And at that particular time, he was just a courier. He was going in his car. He had no weapons, didn't have nothing. And he was taking all his money from different branches going back to the bank. But that wouldn't happen today. So, anyway.
They'd have it in the Brinks card today.
Yeah, I know, all right. But, so, the lady didn't believe me. So I have my birth certificate. I went back the next Saturday. I said, well, see, I'm only 12 years old, or 10 years old, whatever. This is my birth certificate. So I paid my quarter. Yeah, I don't care, no, you still, that's not you, So that's when I stopped going, because they wouldn't let me in for a bar.
So even after you showed them the...
Yeah, sure, I'm gonna take my birth certificate.
Oh,
So,
man.
that was just, something happened back then. That's why I enjoy age growing
So,
up. Yeah, those were interesting times, I tell you. I'm just, reminiscing on some of that stuff right now, but that was interesting times.
Well, when you were, did you do any actual boycotting, like standing in front of?
Yeah. A&P right down in College Avenue used to be an A&P down. And of course, in front of the library, in front of Cress's. When you went to Cress, you go down and get your hot dog around in the back and stand there and eat it, but you couldn't sit at the lunch counter, which is, where Cress is still. I don't know if that lunch counter is still there or not. I haven't been in there.
I don't think they have the counter.
Oh, yeah, I've been in there for a long time. I know you used to come around you couldn't go to the lunch counter, you could go around to the back there, a little stand where you could get your hot dog there and sit on that around the corner or something, But, so we finally got this straight. We found it. But places like that, you just, parents tell you don't want to go. Only place we went that I remember was Blue Wells Ice Cream. And it used to be up by the library, right by the plaza. I think it was called Blue something like that. We would go there, and it was Sunday while we would come to town. whatever. And they had the best ice cream in the world. Well, I always get the orange pineapple. Oh, the orange pineapple, the only place you can get them. They go bluebell, sometimes bluebell, right next to the
I think that's right.
Yeah, yeah. About that, yeah.
So that wasn't segregated.
No,
What about Dunham's?
well, yeah, Dunham's. Well, no, Dunham's was, that's where I got I bought my first horn from, Dunham's. I don't know where that horn come from, because, I never knew we had a baritone in there, but finally, somewhere, he got one somewhere. Anyway, that's where I bought I had my own horn, finally, at Dunham's Music. And they would encourage you to come in and play. And particularly when I came on piano, some after school, to come in there and play the pianos around there. So, yeah, Dunham's was good. It was a great store. Right down, I know that well, right next to the Bank of America, right down here on Manhattan. Yeah. And there was another music store around on Billboard, up there by Fame. I don't remember that name. That's where I bought my first, what I call professional mouthpiece from them. And I can't remember the name of the store, but the store, that big store, Fame on Billboard. And I ordered my first mouthpiece, what I call professional, well, it was a metal mouthpiece. It wasn't a big mouthpiece that you normally associate with baritone saxophone. You know, you look at the upsetters and the guys who pass it down on there, it was metal trim, metal mouthpieces. So that's the kind I wanted. So that's where I got mine from, at the store on Goodwin Avenue. My first mouthpiece was, at that time, I probably had 10, 15 more after that first time. Because you never, one thing about a saxophone player, you never find the correct mouthpiece. You have to keep buying them, and, finally, after years, I settled on one now. Yeah, but after several, yeah.
See, we were talking about A score and now you're back to me.
I know, yeah.
We got your number.
Yeah, well.
Did you say what your parents, did they support you in?
Yeah, they were supporting me. Yeah, they were, yeah. My father and my aunt, all supported me. Supported everything we were going to do. They were encouraging us to continue because we weren't, encouraging any ill will about what we were doing. So, but, some of it, I personally didn't have too much of a problem when we had our protests and everything because I always had white friends with me. So that was kind of a standing back kind of approach as you march down the street or whatever. Because I would have hotel watches or
I
something.
was gonna say, I bet your guitar player
Yeah.
was there.
Yeah. And several other.
So he stood with y'all.
Oh, yeah.
That's
That's
great.
wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
Can you think of anybody else?
Yeah, there was a couple other, but there was one guy, I don't know what his name was, Dave Smith. He wanted to be a saxophone player. I mean, he wanted to most be a saxophone player. And he bought a saxophone player, and he would come around, always around, but he never quite got to the point of being a saxophone player. He really had to try his best. And I don't know what happened to him. I think he was, I don't know if he still lives here now. And another guy, should have brought him. That's another band I used to play with. I can't remember his name either. But, sure, there were other, you know, white guys that would stand with us doing all the marches and so forth.
Did y'all go to any of the drive-ins on Tunnel Road?
No. Went to, what was it, Dreamland? Dreamland was out, kind of Billboard area, I think. Was it Dreamland
It was
Drive?
at the end of Tunnel Road.
Okay, maybe that's where it was, okay. All right.
That was still here when I got there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow.
You've got a good memory.
No, well, somebody.
Actually, you do. You really do.
It's so hard to imagine what it must have been like before integration. And we've heard so many comments about what a great education people got at Stevens Lee. Do you have anything you want to say in terms of what you got from being in a segregated school?
Well, one of the main things that I got probably that you don't get today is a little knowledge about Black history. You know, that was always taught and dwelled upon throughout my schooling at Burton Street on up. You know, I remember in Burton Street, and I had to do an essay about Tucson. Tucson's, what they,
The architect.
yeah, Tucson Literature,
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, in that early age, you start learning about Black history, you start in Burton Street on through. So, things were a little different as far as, you know, getting to know where you come from and kind of give you direction of where you're going. You know, so, I mean, I've followed that all the way after back in North Carolina Central. I had much with Dr. King, and he came down to Durham and had a march sit-in, and then march, and march, you know, I marched with him at that particular time. And in fact, we were marching summers at the Sears Roebuck at that time, and about employing people that worked at Sears Roebuck, I think that's what it was. But, you know, so that was the only time I really had any violence at that particular time was down when I was marching with him in Durham. And, you know, somebody was throwing bottles, you know, over, you know, when we were marching. And the girl I was with cut her leg. She had a cut on her leg and breaking the bottle. And I coming at her. You know, so that's the only kind of violent things I had. But, well, that's one thing that you finally, you don't too much mention of. But, you know, during those protests and so forth, you know, like certain areas, certain guys from Alabama, Mississippi, whatever, going to college, they didn't too much care about the peaceful protests. So, you know, remember this time when we were protesting with Dr. King, the bars were throwing us. Now behind them, there was another group of guys. Now, those guys from the college. Now they would attack those guys who were throwing the bottles, which you never knew about this separate action that was going on at that particular time. You know, I never heard anything about the thing was going on behind the group, it was behind the group.
And that was behind Dr. King too.
Yeah, it was behind him, yeah, yeah. But
Was
yeah,
that students from a white school?
no, I don't know where the students from, but the students from the black schools would attack the guys who were
Okay.
throwing the bottles at the, but you never knew about that side.
Yeah,
You never heard about that side. Yeah, so, yeah, that was, you know, there were guys, those were just waiting for that to happen so they would attack, would have a conflict. But I never heard anything about all the things about the King did. I never heard anybody ever mention. I could have been the only place that happened.
Cliff, you mentioned you have a son. Did he go to a integrated school, high school?
Yeah, he went to Asheville High.
Okay,
He didn't go to Secret.
okay.
Yeah, so he went to Asheville High.
Did he have a good experience there? Get a good education?
Well, I believe he did. You know, he was born when I went to college, and of course he was out of wedlock. So I didn't really see him grow up. He stayed with my
I see.
parents.
Okay,
He stayed with my parents, raised him more or less than I did. So when he did go to Asheville High, he graduated from there. And I don't know too much about his education at that point in time.
all right.
Yeah. So, when he went to Bird Street and Hill Street, then you're right. Yeah, I don't know. Wow.
Yeah, a lot of change right about that time.
Yeah, a lot changed. Yeah, a lot changed. Now that was David Miller, wasn't it? David Miller?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh.
How do you feel about Asheville today with terms of race?
Well, like I said before, it's changed quite a bit since I was smaller here. And I don't really get out too much to see what's going on. I don't come downtown that often because I don't know where. Some of the old places that I used to frequent are not there no more. So I don't see a lot of my old friends here. They're just about all gone. So I don't really get out to see what's going on, but I think it's changed much. Well, it's changed. But one thing I noticed that seemed like the people that I've spoke to over time and time again, they have seemed to be more interested in the things that my grandfather, the black people have accomplished. They seem to be more interested than the white people seem to be more interested than black kids. You know, all the history and stuff that's been going on, they're not interested in what he did and things like that. It seems like this is just not personal. So that's how it's changed. That people are, I don't know how to explain it, but some of the things we did, it seems like the black kids here are not interested in. They got their own thing going. It's just, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, we hear that a lot when we go to programs like that are at the Stevens Lee Center.
Yeah.
And it's basically white people that turn out.
Yeah.
When they're,
And this is the older crowd too.
yeah,
as
and
well.
whether it's historical
Yeah.
or, more contemporary issues, like equity and things, it still seems to be the white people, and,
Yeah,
you know, in large part, I'm sure, is from being so terribly disappointed and disillusioned with anything to do with the city government,
right.
from urban renewal and raising Stevens Lee and,
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
the city owes the blacks a lot, in my mind.
Oh, I think so too.
yeah.
I just worry that we're so segregated, and it just, you know, downtown probably especially. I remember talking to one woman, and she said, oh, we live just like it was in the 50s. We don't go out of our house. We're afraid to.
I don't know the way either. Don't know. I really don't have anywhere to go. I don't, just not like used to. I mean, you could go, you know, like South Side. That's gone. You know, College Street is down the South Side. That was a whole different street
Yeah.
when I was young. You could start down at the end of Eagle Street, go all the way down, and then clubs, bars, stores, everything else on the South Side. You know, when I was small. You know, that was everything right down there. It was everything from fuel parlor, and yeah, undertaker to
Hotel, barber.
everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that urban renewal was just terrible.
Yeah.
That happened in my hometown too, Atlanta.
Okay.
And it had the very same effect. It destroyed old black neighborhoods. And then the people who were displaced never really got roots
Never
again.
got, yeah.
And that's exactly what happened here. I read something this morning that said it wasn't urban renewal, it was black removal. This was a black person who said that, and remembered very, you know, bitterly when Stumptown was,
Yeah.
you know, almost wiped out. South Side and the East End, just a fraction was left of what those neighborhoods had been.
Yeah.
And I can tell you the same stories in Atlanta. And it's just hard to, and I was a kid then, you're a little bit older than me, but it's hard to look back on those days and think, well, you know, were people doing that kind of thing intentionally? Did the people who were running the federal programs know what they were doing? Or did they just see older houses and say, oh, these have got to go, you know, we need an interstate here, or we need a new park here. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
It really is hard.
Well, I don't know if some of those places are just a lot of landmarks now, and people still around.
Is Burton Street predominantly black still?
No. No, all my neighbors, man, that's a white now. And, it's not bad, you know, it's okay, but it's still,
People who moved in fairly recently, the whites.
yeah. They just built a new house right next door to me, and there's a white couple in there already. It just completed, just a couple months ago.
Don't move, you gotta stay in there to
Yeah.
integrate the street.
Right. I mean, that's been a lot since I was a kid. There's nothing in there. I mean, there's a small lot, you know, just between the two houses. But they stuck a house in.
They stuck it in.
Yeah, now, my light bills are going up because that house shades my light. I keep my light on all the time in the house. That's the right side of the house. You know.
Do you have any more questions?
I don't think so. I have a comment. What a wonderful interview. And thank you for sitting here so patiently and telling us about your life and about your views of things.
Yeah, back on the north side, yeah, that's probably, that'll probably, a lot of stuff will come to me once I leave.
Write it down and we'll have you back.
Write it in, we'll sit down again.
Yeah. A
You
lot
should
of
get,
things will come to
you should
me.
get him to bring a tour Orange Montford Festival?
Wow.
It's so great you have those pictures.
Yeah. Now, there's one place they should have torn down. I don't think that was James E. Hotel. They used to have all types of entertainment at James E. Hotel. Everybody from, Duke out to James Brown to everybody,
So the Duke played there too?
Yeah, that's what I understand. I was a little bit before my time. That's where all those guys.
That is a big one.
Yeah, that
I
is.
don't know how you can hold it, let alone play it.
That was at the Southland Drive-In. I was down in my house. Now, my basement was like a psychedelic place. See the walls out of all painted in.
Oh, yeah.
And each wall was a different color, different design.
Well, it was the 60s.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
brother's bedroom was orange.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's still, everything is still down there, but it's not the same. But yeah, that was, yeah.
I've always thought if Southside were still here and intact, that it would be crammed with tourists,
Oh, it was.
They probably raised it trying to remove the blacks because of tourism, and then here it could have been the best
Yeah, right.
spot in town.
Even the train stations, you couldn't cut down.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Even the what?
The train station.
Yeah,
that was something to see.
but it was beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Got out to full report at one time, so.
You were?
With my father.
Your father was?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Did your mother work when she was in your room?
Yeah, she did some, I don't know exactly what she was doing, but she ended up working with the seniors thing over here at West HCH or something like that. Some senior organization.
Not senior opportunities?
No, so I go to HCH, what's that stand for? I might have it wrong, but yeah.
Well, it's just so great she got to go to college.
Yes. it
Yeah.
was. Sure was.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
Yeah,
your
that's
time.
And you have scanned all those up or on
I'm not
a
sure.
previous occasion?
I don't know if we had the one that was inside the Keys Hotel or this one. Have you brought that one by?
No, that was just a collage of the pictures.
Yeah.
It's James Key Hotel. That's Cornell, that's a piano player. He still plays in church.
And he's here in town.
Yeah, he was in town, yeah, Tri-Stone, so he performed.
Um,
And I was out bandstand. So, oh, Bob. The Rock or something, that's somebody else. Or everybody had their name on the band.
Yeah,
on the
that's
bandstand.
yeah, it's cool. I like
Yeah.
that. I like that letter.
Yeah.
What were these? Were they held the music?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was like
Music
a
stand.
bandstand, music stand.
Oh, oh.
Uh-huh.
Did you enjoy being a vocalist in the?
Yeah, I thought I could sing back in the days. I was a bass singer.
Was it 3 or 4 of y'all singing?
4.
4. So
Yeah.
then you could do every part. you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
The full sound there.
So, and Charles Biggins, he continued to sing. He died a few years ago. But he was a great vocal. Matter of fact, he joined us. Well, matter of fact, he was with the we pulled him into the fire response when we went to Small's Paradise. Yeah, I mean, while we were playing in Philadelphia. But, you know, we weren't getting too much money in Philadelphia, so he left the group. In fact, there was a, he left the group, left, came back home and said, no, I'm going, he caught the bus, came back before we went to Small's Paradise.
Yeah.
Okay. Did he stick with music?
Yeah, he sang in town,
Okay,
up until just a few, till he died just a few years ago,
okay. And he was right here in town?
right in town, yeah. Charles Pickens, never heard of him singing around
I
town?
don't
I
know.
think I have.
Yeah, Charles
St.
Pickens,
Anne's, maybe.
yeah.
I was gonna ask you if your family went to church when you were growing up.
Yeah, well, my mother and my father and grandmother went across the street to St. Paul. My mother was a member of the Cavalry and Presbyterian. So I would go to church with her sometimes, go across the street to St. Paul sometimes. So I was kind of torn between the two. You know, it's kind of totally different, Baptist and Presbyterian.
We've just wondered how much in that time period ministers might have had to do with education and,
No, not too much in my case, no. I mean, I was more or less a spiritual family. And, but my mother was always playing piano. But one thing I remember about her, she did play by ear. You know, I said, come on, let's play a little something. And she could not play, she had to have her music. So she was strictly by the book. I remember one of you couldn't buy too much music at that time. You couldn't find music and you wanted to buy. So I remember one song that I found a sheet at Donald's that was called Green Door. You know
Yeah,
that song?
I do, yeah. That's
So I had the sheet of music, Green Door.
Yeah,
And she could play Green Door, then I tried to play along with her.
yeah. Well, my experience is that piano players who grew up learning proper music and,
Yeah.
and learning how to play from sheet music,
That's what she
they never learned to play by ear.
No, she
They
didn't.
never did
Yeah,
learn.
yeah.
That's the only way I can play.
Yeah, oh yeah, I couldn't figure that out, she couldn't play it by
Dr.
no.
Lennon would have told me, okay, I'm glad you can hear it, but you got to learn the music, bro. I needed a teacher to tell me that. So he did y'all a great favor.
Yeah, oh yeah, he made sure that we studied out music, yeah.
I think I asked you, but do you know Butch Dindy? His real name is William. He goes by Butch. He lives over on Madison Street off
No,
Charlotte. I can't remember what year he graduated, can you?
I don't.
no,
Because he wanted to be in the band and he loved music, but he couldn't read.
oh,
And whenever Lennon would give out sheet music, he'd go down to Dunham's and buy it or listen to it and learn it that way.
oh yeah?
And he kind of got by for a while, but then he told us that one day, well, the first thing was one day there was an extra note that he played, and Doc said, well, I like that, let's add that. And he had gotten it from whatever he listened to, and then the next time, what instrument did he play, right?
So I don't remember.
The next time, whatever he played, the other ones weren't there, and so he fell apart, and Lennon said, stopped the music and said, son, you can't read music, can you? And he said, no, sir.
Found him out.
Oh yeah?
He said, you're out of here, you know the story.
Yeah, oh, good. Yeah, he
And
insisted.
that seems so sad, because he loved music so much.
Yeah, he insisted we learn the music.
By any chance, do you know Gary McDaniel? he is a minister now at a church off Pfeiffer. And he was in the band. He came along later than you.
Oh.
Gary's probably about my age, probably 5 or 6 years younger than you.
Oh.
But one of the first things he remembered was that we all had to learn how to read music. And he emphasized that point a lot in the interview.
Yeah,
And then he was in the marching band, and that was at the time when they paraded all through
yeah, I was in the
downtown
marching
Nashville.
band, yeah.
And he thought that was just the biggest thing in his life at the time.
Yeah.
Walking into the stadium is what they did at the end of the parade. And he said the crowd would go crazy
Yeah.
when Stevens Lee would go in. So
Yeah.
those were some of his memories. But he started out, we had to learn how to read the music.
Yeah, I remember marching down Pat Avenue with the parade. But you know, they when we first started, they finally had to put us in the back of the parade. Because normally we'd be in the front and go somewhere, but once we started playing, the crowd would follow us, and the rest of the parade was still just the parade. So they put
Nobody
us behind,
watching it.
yeah.
And Gary said the very same thing.
Yeah.
And he said well, the way he put it, we had to be behind Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Because if we were in front of Santa Claus, nobody would pay attention to St. Nick.
That's right. Yeah.
What a band y'all had. Goodness
Oh, yeah,
gracious.
oh, yeah.
And Lennon, there has to be a teacher with that personality behind the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
And he, it sounds like he was just friendly enough and just demanding enough
He was.
that you wanted to work for him.
You're right. Yeah, he was. Wow.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you. Gary.
Okay.